Happy birthday, Silver Line. Enjoy this bonus Friday video.
10 years ago today, the Silver Line opened to the public. After years of design, debates on rights of way, construction, and testing, Northern Fairfax County was finally connected to the region's rapid transit system on July 26, 2014. Tysons Corner, 10 miles from Washington, D.C., is the main focus of Phase 1 of the Silver Line, with 4 of the 5 stations within that area. Tysons is home to the 12th largest employment center in the nation, helped in part by the headquarters of all of these major companies. Tysons is home to Tysons Corner Center, the largest shopping mall in Virginia and in the Baltimore, Washington area. Less than 500 feet or 5 football fields away is the Tysons Galleria, another large shopping mall. There's just a lot going on here, and Fairfax County wants it to be poppin' even more, with plans to turn Tysons into an unofficial downtown for the county of over 1 million people. When arriving in Tysons in the dark, it feels like a city, with all the tall buildings lit up. But Tysons is still the byproduct of America's suburban sprawl. With Leesburg Pike and Cambridge Road bisecting the area, most are still dependent on automobiles, unless a metro station happens to be near their origin and destination. There are also buses in the area, but they're pretty slow and don't get a ton of ridership. Fairfax County has recognized the power of having some sort of downtown or center zone, with housing, business, and commercial all in the same area. Their plan is to rezone much of Tysons Corner for mixed-use development where housing, retail, and business aren't too far from each other. According to Tysons Urban Plan from 2017, they expect around 100,000 people to live in Tysons in 2050, up from around 27,000 in 2024. They also want to keep attracting business to the area and double the number of jobs from 105,000 to 200,000, also by 2050. The Silver Line opening makes implementing this plan easier, and it makes it more obvious where the denser development should be. However, due to work from home as a result of the pandemic, I'm curious how hard it will be for the plan of 200,000 jobs to be realized. But I guess they have 25 years to figure it out. This plan is already starting to take shape. If you ride the metro through Tysons, you will notice the amount of new construction going up. And if you haven't been to Tysons in a while, check it out. It's changed a ton. Now let's take a look at the 4 metro stations that will serve Tysons for years to come and 1 bonus station further down the line. McLean is the first station solely on the Silver Line westward from the city. The station features the Tysons Peak design language due to the peak of the platform canopy. Starting at ground level, you find escalators up to the middle level, which contains the mezzanine. This is where you use the Smart Trip card machines and go through the fare gates. After that, you ascend to the platform level and get on the train. From the platform, you can see much of Tysons and the surrounding area, as this is reportedly the highest station on the metro system at around 50 feet, but I haven't been able to find any official data on that. As you may notice, the main color of the station is silver. This goes for all Silver Line stations. I don't know if this was on purpose for the Silver Line, but the new Potomac Yard station has a similar color design, and that station is on the blue and yellow line, so I believe it's just the new modern design of choice. It's pretty nice. McLean Station runs parallel to Cambridge Road, and the main employer adjacent to the station is the Capital One Center, the headquarters for Capital One Bank, which is connected to a whole new development with a performing hall, a baseball stadium, and plenty of office buildings, many of which are connected to Capital One. There is also a golf course on one of the tall buildings here, which I'm sure on a warm, calm fall day is an amazing experience. I have not been there, but from what I've seen, I recommend it. Less than a mile away is Tysons Station, the main metro station for Tysons Corner, hence the name. This station has a gambrel style due to its curved roof. This is actually the most common station style on the entire Silver Line. From ground level, you enter the station at the intersection of Tysons Boulevard and Cambridge Road. You go up the escalators and then pass through fare control on the mezzanine. Then you descend down onto the platform and get on the train. This leads to an interesting design where you ascend higher than the platforms for fare control, then descend onto the platform. This station is the most centered on many of the attractions and amenities that people go to Tysons for. The station has a direct walkway to the Tysons Corner Center Mall, the largest mall in the DC area, and the station is also a 5-minute walk to the north to the other mall in Tysons Corner, the Tysons Galleria. I didn't even know there were 2 malls in Tysons until I started researching for this video. Tysons has long been a place of commerce and retail, and it definitely helps that some of the richest zip codes in the state and the richest county by household income in the entire country is pretty close as well. In the station's lifetime ridership data, some of the busiest days have been on Black Friday, our national holiday of shopping. Tysons Station also has a bus transfer center with 10 different bus routes terminating there, including the bus I use most often, Express Bus 60 to Manassas. This is also the northern terminus of Bus 28A, which is the busiest WMATA bus route in Virginia that terminates all the way down in Old Town Alexandria. Between Tysons and our next station, there's a half-mile tunnel which seems a bit out of place because it's the only tunnel solely on the Silver Line. This is due to the fact that everywhere in Tysons, except through this tunnel, the Metro line is elevated. In the mid-2000s, during the design stages of the Silver Line, there was a very contentious debate on whether the part of this line that went through Tysons should be above or below ground. Proponents of tunneling under Tysons believed that it would more easily transfer Tysons into a more walkable and transit-oriented area, and they thought that an above-ground structure would further divide and add bulky infrastructure, limiting potential walkability. Opponents of the tunnel agreed with this assessment but feared that the cost of tunneling would disqualify federal funding for the Silver Line altogether. These few years pitted all levels of government, local business, and community members against one another, until the elevated design gained final approval in 2008 under disputed political constraints. I did not look into the dispute far enough to find the disputed political constraints, but I'll leave the link below for an MIT study that could make for some light reading. It is very long. The next station up is Greensboro, one of the most forgetful stations on the system, in my opinion. Its design is very similar to the Tysons station, with the gambrel roof design and the mezzanine being on the highest level of the station. The northeast side of the station has a modern suburban urban vibe, with really tall glass buildings, small side streets, and minimal automobile and foot traffic. In contrast, the southwest side resembles your typical American suburb with large parking lots and big box stores. County plans suggest future redevelopment of this area into a civic center featuring public, residential, and commercial buildings oriented towards the metro station rather than the current road. This station has one other thing it's notable for, but that's a story for a future video. Our penultimate station is only 1 kilometer away from Greensboro. This station has a design very reminiscent of McLean, with the mezzanine on the middle level and the platform at the top.
This has to be one of the most pedestrian-unfriendly stations. There's a car dealership here, station entrance right here, and back here is a busy road.
This station is in the top 3 least used stations in the entire metro system, and it's not hard to see why. Within a 10-minute walk of the station, there are 6 car dealerships and a ton of surface parking. There's one large apartment building, the Adaire, I don't know how to pronounce that, apartments, where you can get 1 bed and 1 bath for only $2,200 a month. What a steal! Another interesting thing about this building is it shows how much space is required for parking. I can't even blame anyone here for having a car. Just look around. Only an urbanist or a masochist wouldn't have a car here. There isn't much more to say about this station. Just look how short the Wikipedia page is.
So all in all, Spring Hill just feels really overbuilt for how much ridership it gets. I understand all stations have to be the same size to keep things simple, but it's so big, but basically no one's here, especially the mezzanine. There's just so much empty space down there.
Between Spring Hill and our next station, there sits a notable concert venue called the Wolf Trap National Park for the Performing Arts, locally known as Wolf Trap. The venue has a capacity of 7,028 people and has year-round performing events. Due to the low density of the surrounding area, lack of potential development, coupled with the fact that Wolf Trap would not drive enough ridership to the station, it was never planned or built, and around $100 to $200 million were saved, the estimated cost of the station. There is a Fairfax Connector shuttle that runs from McLean Metro Station to Wolf Trap on days of events. It costs $5 round trips and runs every 20 minutes before and after events.
The spot between Spring Hill Station and Wiehle Reston East Station is the longest area on the metro system between 2 stations. It's about 4-ish miles and takes about 5 minutes to traverse, which is larger than any other gap between stations on the entire system.
I just realized that there's this little metro logo on each seat, or between each seat.
I don't know how I didn't notice that before. It's crazy.
The last station in today's video is Wiehle Reston East, around 2 kilometers or a 30-minute walk from downtown Reston. Back when it opened in 2014, the station sorta connected Reston to the DC Metro system, but with a 30-minute walk from downtown, it wasn't exactly convenient. This station has a design similar to Tysons and Greensboro, with a gambrel-style roof and the mezzanine in the upper level. This is a common design for metro stations surrounded by a highway. To the north of the station, you will find a small but growing mixed-use development with apartments, shops, and office space. You'll also find this nice courtyard walkway area. So way over there's the metro station, here's the mixed-use area, and then over here is the main road, and they're building some more apartments over here. The station's bus bays are under the buildings, hidden from view, which is a rarity at metro stations. So that bus just came from down here, which is where the bus bays are, which is actually underground, under the mixed-use development and everything, which is pretty cool. Bike and rid. So I happened to find this bike parking place. I assume it gets more busy on commuting days, but there's a little place right here next to the walkway, and there's also all of this down here. Honestly, this is the biggest bike parking lot I've ever seen. Nothing compared to the Netherlands, but not too bad at all. The attached 2,300 spot WMATA parking garage is also pretty well hidden by being built into the side of one of the new buildings. New development such as this is expected along most of the Silver Line near the stations, but it will take decades before it is fully realized. If you venture out to the south side exit, you will find many, many buildings in the boring old suburban office park style. That's because this entire area is known as the Dulles Technology Corridor. It's basically the Silicon Valley of the East Coast, thanks in massive part to the large amounts of data centers in Loudoun and Prince William counties. All right, so behind me there's the parking and the mixed use and the entrance to the station and everything, but right over here, about a 5-minute walk, is this thing I found on Google Maps. Is called the WMATA Spicy Funhouse, and I'm sure someone just put it on there as a joke, but we gotta check it out. All right, it is really hot today, but I have found the WMATA Spicy Funhouse. It looks like it's just some sort of electrical substation for the train, which just runs right over there, over that ridge, over that concrete thing. So it's just an electrical substation. They're needed all across the system because the system does use a ton of electricity, and places like this help regulate that and connect it to the grid. And I'm not an electrical engineer. I just know when you see danger, high voltage, you know it's electrical. So that's what it is, but it is hilarious how it is on Google Maps. The Phase 1 Silver Line stations that we looked at today cumulatively get around 7,200 entries per weekday in 2024, with 4,900 on Saturdays and 3,500 on Sundays. Here's how it stacks up by station. In 2019, right before the pandemic altered ridership patterns, the Silver Line got around 15,700 riders per weekday. That puts the Silver Line Phase 1 at about a 45% recovery rate, a bit lower than the Metro in general. All in all, the Silver Line connects many important Northern Virginia areas that are currently car dependent, but as time goes on and the Metro Line cements itself among the communities, it has the potential to transform the region into a more connected, accessible, and sustainable urban area, potentially reducing traffic congestion and fostering economic growth. This expansion aims to enhance the quality of life, attract businesses, and create vibrant communities in Northern Virginia, and only time will tell what the outcome will look like. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully you enjoyed this extra little video in the middle of my normal upload schedule. More stuff coming soon. And that's it. Have a great day. Peace.